Hello and welcome to another video in the lecture series entitled Advanced Biomaterials. In our previous video, we had seen about carbon nanoparticles. We had discussed what they are and what are their applications in different fields of biomedical engineering and tissue-based therapeutics. We had discussed about what are their types and how they can be used as suitable carriers for different drug delivery applications, and also how they can be used as excellent probes in different imaging applications. So in today's video, we will be looking at some of their preparation strategies of carbon nanomaterials. So the preparation strategies of carbon nanomaterials are classified in two broad headings, that is the top-down approach and the bottom-up approach. So, on a brief recap, carbon nanomaterial will be a carbon material which will have a dimension less than 100 nanometers. So, in order to obtain such materials, so these are the two approaches, the top-down and the bottom-up approach, which can be used for their synthesis. So, the top-down approach essentially implies the synthesis of nanoparticles starting from macroparticles. That is, macroparticles or larger sized molecules or larger sized particles, they will be broken down using a suitable energy source or using a particular method to give rise to the nanoparticles. So particles with higher size will be broken down to give particles in the nanoscale, that is less than, in the nanoscale region, that is size less than 100 nanometers. So there are the three important methods in this top-down approach. So first one is electrochemical oxidation, ultrasonation and membrane dialysis, then laser ablation. Now coming to the bottom-up approach, this approach essentially implies small molecules which combine or aggregate to give nanoparticles. So the starting material will have the carbon source as molecules, then they will aggregate to give larger sized particles which will be in the nanoscale. So finally we will obtain particles having size range from 1 to maybe less than 100 nanometers based on a particular application. So in the bottom-up approach, there are all three important methods. Microwave assisted synthesis is one of the most important and one of the most used one. Then hydrothermal or solvothermal method is also available. Finally, pyrolysis can also be used for synthesizing carbon nanoparticles using the bottom-up approach. Now we will be discussing in brief about these 6 methods. So the first method in the top-down approach is electrochemical oxidation. In the electrochemical oxidation, the source material acts as a cathode and anode which is submerged in an electrolyte, and upon passing the electrical current, electrochemical oxidation will take place, which leads to the formation of the carbon nanoparticles. In the second method, ultrasonation and membrane dialysis, the nanoparticles are produced from a carbon source using an external high energy source, and then from the particles a suitable size range of our carbon nanomaterials can be obtained through membrane dialysis using a specific membrane. So in many applications, the use of a polytetrafluoroethylene PTFE membrane has been reported, which has pore size of 0.22 micrometers for getting a desirable size range of carbon nanomaterials. The final method in the top-down approach is the laser ablation, wherein the target material is irradiated with a high energy laser source. So when the laser source falls on the target material, on the surface of the target material, it increases the temperature of the surface of the material and it undergoes a transition to a plasma state, which then crystallizes to give the carbon nanomaterials. Now coming to the three bottom-up approach synthesis strategies of production of the different carbon nanomaterials. The first one is the microwave assisted synthesis. So, as the name suggests, microwave assisted synthesis implies the external energy source is a microwave radiation, which is used to synthesize these carbon nanomaterials. So, a microwave synthesizer can be used. So, basically, any microwave oven can be used for the synthesis of carbon nanomaterial using this method. So, in our lab, we also use this method for wide scale production of different types of carbon nanoparticles, pristine carbon nanoparticles, and also carbon nanoparticles which are passivated with different molecules such as different polymers. So, in one of the upcoming videos, we will be looking at how, in fact, the microwave synthesizer can be used for the production of carbon nanoparticles from a particular carbon source. So, basically, for a particular time point, the microwave radiation will be applied to a solution of carbon source. Then, after some point of time, we can visually detect the change in coloration of the carbon source when it undergoes a charring or the production of carbon materials, which is indicated by a sharp change in coloration to a deep red or reddish coloration, which will indicate that the carbon nanoparticles has been synthesized. So that time scale is set for or optimized for that particular material, and then we can take it out. We can perform UV visible spectroscopy to determine if the preliminary if the materials have been synthesized or not. So any microwave oven can be used for this, but a specific microwave synthesizer is available for use in laboratories, which gives us better control over the reaction conditions, and also it is safe to operate. Then coming to the second method, the hydrothermal or the solvothermal method. So it actually employs heating a carbon source which is dissolved in water at high temperatures in a stainless steel container. So then that the material which can be obtained can also be purified using dialysis and filtration to give carbon nanoparticles in the desired size range. Finally, coming to pyrolysis. Pyrolysis is also a high temperature treatment where the source material is heated at very high temperatures to undergo oxidation, to undergo this pyrolysis or heating to give the carbon nanoparticles. So, based on a particular application, these different types of material of the synthesis strategies can be adopted, and also based on the specific based on the source material which we are trying to use for the preparation of these carbon nanoparticles. Again, these techniques or combination of some of these, in fact, can be used for the production of carbon nanoparticles. So, if we are going for drug delivery approaches, and also for if we need the carbon nanoparticles to be very small in size, maybe as probes for bioimaging, we need very small size carbon nanoparticles. So we can go for production followed by purification strategies or filtration or dialysis to give very fine control over the particle size using these very ultra fine, ultra thin membranes, which can give very homogeneous particle size distribution. So these can also be characterized using different techniques. These particle size can be characterized using the dynamic light scattering assay or the DLS assay, which gives this particle size range. So we can know that which particle size range our carbon nanomaterials or nanoparticles belong to. So we'll be looking at these characterization techniques, some of the preliminary or the crude characterization techniques, and also some of the advanced ones which we can use for characterizing our carbon nanomaterials after we are synthesizing. So that will be all for today's video. Thank you.